Hello! My name is Sophie Ross and you're watching Tickly Mouth. This episode I am going to show you 2 ways with pork mince. 2 ways? Yes, it's a 2-parter. Ooh! Both these recipes I'm about to show you can be doubled in quantity to use the whole of this. 750 grams of pork mince. So for part 1 of this Porky special, I'm going to do cottage pie but with pork. You might go, what? Cottage pie but with pork? Don't be ridiculous. But actually, I can vouch that it works very well and you should not be prejudiced. Just because this one is a pig and the other one is a beef, is a cow, or a lamb for shepherd's pie. I'm rambling. This will serve 2 of you and a baby if you want, and a lunch, I would suspect. Get yourself a nice big casserole pan and then chop up your veggies. 1 onion into small dice, baby. See, I'm that quick at chopping. Now then, while you're chopping, put your casserole pan on a medium heat and swig some olive oil in. Chop yourself a carrot. Now you've got to brown your meat. Half of your 750 grams. Ooh, it's a good sound. And you can carry on chopping. I've done that sort of size. It's about the size of a kitten's ear. Meow, meow. It's more like a kitten, it's more like meow, meow, meow. You are supposed to use celery in this recipe, but I don't have any celery. So how's about some leftover asparagus? Chunky dice. When your meat is browned all over, by browned I mean just doesn't look raw anymore. Take it out, put it on a plate, bit more oil, and then add your yummy delicious veggies. Stick a couple of crushed cloves of garlic. Squeeze, mama! Squeeze! Now that needs to sit and saute happily for maybe 10 minutes or so. They need to be nice and soft. It's looking delightful. Do the 10 minutes thing by eye because it might be quicker. Add a tablespoon, thereabouts, of flour, a good squadge of tomato puree, and stir that up. Flour will stick to your bottom, not your bottom, the saucepan's bottom. Cook that up for a few minutes and then add your pork back to the pan. Stir, 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 stir. Put the kettle on. Stock cube. Take stock of the situation. If you have any red wine, put half a glass in there. I'm sad because I don't have any red wine. It doesn't matter. About a pint of stock, please. Liam herrings. Pepper. Salt. Mixed herbs, a bay leaf. What? You don't have a bay tree? Shame on you. Mix this all together and it'll look a little something like this. You've got to leave this to simmer for at least half an hour so all the flavours can infuse and it will thicken up beautifully and you will salivate. Stick it on the back burner. You want about 1 kilo of potatoes. You can use your stash of sweet potatoes. Makes delicious mash. And chop them into chunks. Once you've chopped and peeled all of your potatoes, stick them in a saucepan, cover with cold water. Add a touch of salt if it's just adults, but we've got babies eating this. Meanwhile, your cottage pie is looking gooply and yumly. Put that into a roasting tin. Literally, slop it all in. This works really well if you've managed to reduce it down to a really nice thick consistency and then also given it time to cool, because that means that the beef mixture and the potato mixture won't kind of squelch into each other. Once you've cooked and drained your potatoes, they'll look like that. Get some milk and get some butter, put a splash of that and a splodge of this. Don't forget to season it, and if you're feeling adventurous, add a bit of cayenne. Mash, mash, beautiful mash. Nothing is better for having a splash. Here is your wonderful looking topping. Bit of cheese over the top for good measure. And then stick this bad boy in the oven for about half an hour. Yes. I only want to serve up a little portion for me. Don't worry if this comes out really sloppy when you serve it up. Nobody minds, except maybe you. There's a tiny little bit liquidy around the edge. That's kind of a given because it's so massively hot, but in future I might use a little bit more flour to thicken it up. You know, way back in the beginning. Ooh, it's yummy. I tell you what, don't go expecting cottage pie because it doesn't taste like cottage pie at all. The pork and the sweet potato make it quite a lot lighter than cottage pie. But you know what? That's really yummy. I'm going to make a start on my second pork meal of the day. It's from Jamie Oliver's Save with Jamie. I love this book. And I'm going to go for the pork meatloaf with spaghetti sauce. Again, I've got less pork than it states in the recipe, but that's okay because you can just kind of bring everything down to match how much pork you've got. So I'm going to half it. If you half this recipe, it will serve 3 people. So that's 2 adult dinners, 1 baby dinner, and an adult lunch to take to work. Perfect. So I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees. Peel your carrots, and then quarter them, and then stick them in a roasting tray, like that. Drizzle some olive oil on. I'll toss them about a bit in the oil, and I've got to pop them in the oven for 10 minutes. And then 50 grams of stale bread. Pop that in a food processor, or if you don't have a food processor, pop it in a jug and use a hand zizzer. Doobly-doo. Mix it up in a bowl with your pork, half a teaspoon of oregano or mixed herbs. It calls for feta cheese, but I don't have any feta cheese. So 15 grams of cheddar. Great. 1 egg. And season that bad boy. Now you can start off by mixing it with a fork, but you are going to have to get your hands dirty in a minute. Looks like that. When the beeper goes on your carrots, take them out. They're nice and roasty-ish. And make a hole, grab your mixture and shape it into a beautiful, meaty log. And then stick it in there. Wash your hands. Pop it back in the oven for 25 minutes. While that's in there, grab a chilli, half it lengthways, whip the seeds out. A medium pan, put some oil in, put these babies in there. Onion, chop it quite finely. Finally, it's happened to me. Shush, can't you see I'm trying to do the telly thing? Garlic. Take out your chilies, put them to one side, and put your onion and garlic into the pan. Woohoo! Alright, chill out, love. Another half teaspoon of oregano into the pan, and you've got to fry these babies until softened. It should be about 5-10 minutes. Then you want some passata. If you don't have any passata, you can use a normal tin of tomatoes. To make it nice and smooth, stick it in here, get your trusty blitzer, and blitz the absolute monkeys out of it. First, make sure the plug is on. And now you can blitz the monkeys out of it. If you also don't have a blitzer, then just use a tin of plum tomatoes. Bash them up or something, it'll be fine. Once you've fried your onions and garlic and oregano, tip in your passata. I can't say passata with a straight face. Passata. Passata, baby. Make sure you get all of the last bits. Give it a swish. Give that a swish as well. Stir this up like a good one. Season this baby, and then that's just going to simmer away until the time is up on my meatloaf. 12 minutes to go! Beep 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 beep! Stop that, beeper! Take your meatloaf out of the oven. Holy moly! Looks like that. Then get your passata. Hakuna passata. What a wonderful phrase. Pour it all around. Stop singing. Not on your meatloaf, just around it. The last few bits. Grate some more cheddar on top. You don't really have to measure that out, just kind of coat the meatloaf. Perfection. Jamie suggests chucking on some woody garden herbs. I've got rosemary in my garden, so that's going in. This is a kind of limbo stage. You can wait until you're ready to serve this, and then it's 5 to 10 minutes in the oven just to heat everything through and melt the cheese and make everything very, very, very yummy indeed. Yummers! Meatloaf! Oh baby! I think because I left it out a little bit before I put it in the oven, the cheese hasn't melted into a big gooey mess. It's stayed in its various strands. Ow. Woo. As I suspected, Jamie Oliver wins again. This is just superb. It's flavourful, it's simple, it's comforting. You're supposed to have this on top of a nice load of spaghetti, maybe with a salad to the side, but we're not going to worry too much about that. And this is why you should go out and buy yourself some pork mince and do some stuff with it. Because it does the job, and it's quite different from the other meats that people usually buy. Thank you so much for watching my double-parter on what to do with pork mince. I don't know. How about a porky cottage pie and a porky Jamie Oliver porky meatloaf delight? How about it? Go! Do it! My name's Sophie Ross. You've been watching Tickly Mouth. Thank you very much. Subscribe. See you next week. Ciao! Oh my god!